All right, so what else?
The next thing that I saw was this dead woman in that bedroom.
Okay, so that's Sal and Lena's bedroom.
I got that she was like keeping you awake at night, not letting you have peaceful sleep. I think she does cause nausea. She also makes you feel very tired. She's extremely draining.
I feel the feeling of drain, like you were explaining, that I'm always exhausted.
I think that you've woken up and been like feeling like you're having a heart attack. Maybe you were trying to just be like, no, these are just nightmares and this isn't really happening, and but it really is happening.
Everything you're describing is what Sal's going through.
Really?
Sal, do me a favor and describe the nightmares that you're having.
When I was sleeping, this man attacked me. I feel him, that he's on top of me. And then he's choking me, and then he doesn't need to move at all. I start crying. It feels really horrible.
Now, when Sal told me what he was going through, I thought it might have been sleep apnea. So I called a local doctor who said that condition could cause those kinds of symptoms, including depression.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Sal tested. The results came back, and everything was negative. You don't have sleep apnea, Sal. Unfortunately, there's got to be another explanation for it. Any idea about this dead girl, who she was or anything like that?
I got that she was pretty young. What I saw of her was that she was kind of like a little bit caked in mud, and she was nude, and that she had long, dark hair. It was like a lot of jaw pain, and her back was excruciating pain. I know that she was caught off guard. She was definitely murdered. I was getting like maybe it happened in the 70s or 80s, or she might have been born in the 70s and 80s, because it could have happened even more recently.
A few things you said remind me of a pretty gruesome homicide I came across. Now, the victim's name was Sophia Brazeno. She lived in Marietta, about 900 feet from this house. She was only 13. She was secretly dating a boy named Crispin Solario Garcia. This kid was 17. Now, on February 12th, 1996, Garcia invited Sophia to meet with him at a market in Marietta. Now, Garcia was also with a friend named Francisco Gonzalez Ochoa. And then they headed to that nearby cemetery. At the time, it was a place where teenagers would hang out and party. Sophia started to get on Garcia's nerves. Garcia told her to shut up, and she started making fun of her. Next thing you know, Garcia got a hold of a screwdriver and began stabbing her. Now, you said the girl was in pain in her jaw and her back. Well, this bastard stabbed her 64 times.
Oh, my goodness.
All around her face, her neck, her back. Now, he basically left her in the cemetery to rot because they didn't find her for 6 days.
Oh, no.
The two of them then took off for Mexico. Garcia was finally caught and extradited in 2007. He's doing life now. Now, I got a mugshot of this psycho. This is Garcia right here. Unfortunately, Ochoa is still on the loose.
I feel horrible that that happened to her, but I can't forgive her for what she's doing to my family. I feel so much anger.
All right, so what else do we have?
I encountered an angry old man, and I do believe that he is a big problem. He kept claiming that this was his house, and he wants to push the living out so he can be alone. I know he can move objects around. I felt like the living would more than likely see him as a type of shadow person.
We see this shadow thing running from that living room straight through here, back in through the kitchen toward the pantry.
I saw him often in the middle bedroom, I think.
It's Alan's room.
I got that he was bothering a young male between 15 and 21 years of age.
Alan's 21.
I saw the male laying on the bed, and I saw him on top of that male. And I did see the young male like freaking out, struggling, and trying to get away.
In the nightmares that I have, I'll feel like I'm being moved in the dream, only to find that I'm being waken up or shaken in real life.
So him feeling like somebody's actually shaking him is actually happening.
Yes.
Who was he? Do you have any idea?
I got that he was in his 70s. He was not born in the US. I believe he was Mexican, but I wasn't sure. Got that initially he was very poor, and that he either came into money or he made his own money. And he's pissed off because he felt like everybody stole from him, I know that he had quite a few animals when he was alive, but now he thinks that he owns this house because he owned the land. But things are confusing because they're not exactly how they used to be.
I think I know who you're talking about. His name was Juan Marietta. You know, they named a town after this guy. Juan was born and raised in Spain, but he came here in 1861. And he bought this property in 1873. He lived here, but obviously in a different structure. I actually have a photo of his house. He came from a pretty modest background, this guy, but he ended up making a lot of money and he died pretty wealthy. This guy was a real piece of work. After he bought the land, he put sheep on here and had them grazing. Back then, the Native American tribe lived in the area too, and they were called the Luiseño. So now he would let the sheep run rampant all over their land and eat their crops. So they weren't too happy about it. They got into it with Marietta. In 1875, Marietta retaliated by getting 200 of the Native Americans kicked off the land. Meanwhile, Marietta did pretty good for himself. He lived a long life, made a lot of money. I actually managed to track down a few photos of this guy. So this is him when he's in his 30s, his 40s, and then this is him in his 80s, right here in the middle. So is it possible this is who you saw?
It is him.
Wow.
Pretty crazy walk so far. What else is going on?
Then I ended up in the first door to the left, down the hallway.
That's Emily's room.
That, to me, was the worst room in the house. Got straight up that she's a medium, very open. So with that being said, she is inadvertently attracting a lot of dead people into her room through the window.
Lena, why don't you talk about how Emily's changed?
Emily has developed all of a sudden terrible anxiety, depressive spells, nervous breakdowns. She doesn't leave the house. It's a completely new person.
Yeah, that breaks my heart in a million pieces because I never seen her like that before.
It's again very similar to what my dad's going through, but with Emily, it's so scary.
When you're growing up as a medium, you do develop a lot of fear because you've experienced a lot of death already. She probably spontaneously opened when all this stuff came into the house.
I mean, the curse.
Right.
Are these dead people literally coming through the window?
Okay, so I had a sketch done of what I saw happening.
Wow.
I honestly don't know what to think.
It's really bad. I'm in shock.
Breaks my heart knowing that I can't step in front of her and say, I can take care of this one.
And is that a shadow person?
No. These things, they're older than man. They've been here forever and they come from the stars. They're aliens, like aliens.